Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lucore Automotive, the home of the 2500 road trip. Behind me you see Kevin Mounts' Police Interceptor. And as you can see, I have the jumper cables on it. So this thing has been sitting in the car trailer for the last couple of weeks. It's finally time to actually spend some time on this thing and see what kind of terrible piece of garbage Kevin bought for $300 some odd and do some maintenance on it. So I'm going to fire this thing up and carefully back it out of the trailer because it has zero brakes. Hopefully not hit anything expensive in the backyard. We'll get it on the rack and see what we've got. If you're interested in a P71 Police Interceptor low buck build, this should be interesting. Well, we'll see if she starts up, step one. I have no idea if the alternator is healthy or not, if it'll keep it running or not. So we'll crawl in this thing and see if she starts up. Oh, fat guy in a little trailer. Fires up like a champ. No problems at all. Still running. That's a good sign. Got a Dukes of Hazzard my way into this thing. Alright, step number one, it's unloaded. Well, before we can really do much of anything as far as diagnostic work goes, we know initially we have a broken brake line, which is good because it's broken right up here in the front. So Rich is going to disassemble to reassemble a new brake line, and then we can actually start seeing what we may have here. Either way, it was at least worth $300.
Well, I absolutely would have wasted $300 on this car.
We've spent way more on way less.
Very true.
Numerous times.
Alright, the breaker bar was a little excessive, but it got the job done. Bunch of spinners.
Heater on the roof if you take all. Well, with the brake line situation fixed, we actually now have brakes once we bleed those. So now it won't be probably quite like death. However, the tires on this thing, as with most things that you buy for $300, are very questionable. It has a matching set of 3 different types of tires. So we're going to be replacing all 4 tires with these cheapo radial GTs, excuse me, Champuro UHPs, all-season radial GTs. About the cheapest tire we could find. This is 17 in this size. So Derek's going to get the honors to do the remove the tires, put the tires on thing, and then we can maybe actually test drive this and see how terrible it is. So I've already aired down all the tires. We're going to pop the wheel weights off, and chuck them up in the tire machine and take these old tires off. Alright, that's 4 tires done and dusted. Let's head over to the bouncer. I missed one. Brakes are done, tires are done. Let's take this pig out for a drive, see how she is. How bad could it be? As you can tell, we have not done anything to the interior. It is still disgusting in here. Oh. Yeah, fires right up. Gonna probably need to add some stereo system here for some tunes. It's not perfect, but that's okay. Messing my seatbelt light goes away. ABS is apparently non-functional. And still got a brake light on. We'll see what's going on with that. Certified calibration. For anybody who's ever been pulled over by one of these guys and they say, the way I pulled you over was I paced you. Shifts through the gears all right. It is a little weird to see a cage behind me. It actually stops pretty well. bit of a belt chirp still. Could probably spend $10 or $15 to fix that problem. Otherwise, it actually rides really well. One of the things that'll always surprise you on cars like these are the build quality. There's a reason that every municipality bought these cars. They're pretty solid vehicles. This one's got Lord only knows how many miles and engine hours on it, and it still feels really good. Honestly, all we've done is put pads and rotors on it because the original brakes were not that good. And with a 2,500 mile road trip ahead of us, you know, the last thing you want to worry about is brakes. Brand new tires on it. They're the cheapest tires we could afford to buy on this thing to be able to keep it inside of its budget. You know, and with the crazy low purchase price that he picked this car up for, you know, he's still got plenty of room before he hits the $2,500 mark. Yeah, I mean, this is really not a bad vehicle. It's not the most beautiful thing in the world. And if you use it to take the kids to school, it's going to be a little awkward with... But otherwise, as far as the driver, not bad. It's got a functional little light thingy. So if we wanted to light thingy people, we could. Power windows work, no tunes. That's kind of frustrating, but that's okay. Need to do some AC work on it. We're going to recharge this sucker and see if she'll hold an air conditioning charge. Otherwise, we may need to replace some AC stuff, but yeah. Also need to look into why the ABS is not working and the brake light won't go out. But otherwise, not bad. For the first initial drive, steering is pretty good, brakes are pretty good, suspension's pretty good, accelerates fine, doesn't have any kind of transmission problems. Kevin, I think you got yourself a good ride. Yeah, it's not anything amazing. These 4.6s are capable motors, I guess we'd be able to say at this point. They're capable motors. They're not amazing motors, but they can make decent power. It's got enough to kind of do a burnout. But again, these cars were never designed for raw power. They weren't designed for that. Can you modify it to make lots of power? Sure. Does it make sense to do that? In this case, absolutely not. Maybe do a little bit of maintenance stuff to it. It doesn't have an active misfire in it, but I'm sure it could probably use some tune-up stuff. More importantly, I would probably look into some of the steering situation, make sure that everything is nice and tight on that. But otherwise, for what it is, for $1,500 all wrapped up, that's with brakes, tires, buying the car, and a new battery. Yeah, it's a real good car. Now, when we're talking the budgets for the 2500 road trip, that does not include brakes and tires. So realistically speaking, he still has a ton of money left in his budget for this car. Now, whether or not he wants to spend that extra bunch of money for this car and what he could do to it, I don't know. Time will tell. Kevin, that's on you. I'm going to take this thing back to the shop and park it. The next phase is for you to decide, sir. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this little test drive on a P71 Police Interceptor with us. Pretty good little car. We're taking this on the 2500 road trip challenge in October the 8th through the 13th. If you're interested in seeing a bunch of guys go on a cheap car challenge around a certain section of the United States, stay tuned for that. As always, we appreciate you guys watching. We appreciate you clicking on the subscribe button. Drop us a comment. Let us know what you think he should do with this extra $1,000 or $1,500 he's got left in the budget for this car. or if he should behave himself and not spend any extra money. As always, click on that like button. We'll see you next time.